Welcome back, all you beautiful people out there. Jefferson here with Blake today on another episode of Just Real Quick. This is going to be a good one today. We want to do some quick shout-outs real quick, and then we're going to get into some training. I got my guy Blake here, been with us for a little over 2 years here at JKR Windows, and he's going to drop some wisdom today. First thing I want to start out with is we got a couple of new recruits. McKay is back, my boy, the Moose.
The Moose.
Man.
Oh, my gosh.
Love having McKay back.
I love McKay. Welcome back.
Installer shout-outs, Jeremy, one of our guys up there, and it's actually Jason's son. He's been putting up some big numbers, doing a lot of the most difficult types of installs because he was taught so well by the master of the universe of installs, Mr. Jason LeBaron. Jeremy, not even sure if you watch these, bro, but we appreciate you. Keep it up. And then how about our recruiting department? Those guys, Ryan and Josh, have been putting up some big numbers. We had our best month in November. And, of course, recruiting is going to be a little wishy-washy in December, but we are gearing up. And January, we're planning on have our biggest month ever in January in recruiting. So excited, really excited about that. Some quick shout-outs for sales. We got the holiday high speed going on right now. We got the seed round out of the way. That was week one. The money magnets ended up on top with 65 points. That's Sarah, Kyle, and Ramiro. And then week two was everybody that was left because number one ended up getting a bye, and they don't start again until this week. So starting off in week three, we got the money magnets up against JKR's finest. We got Panic at the Window teamed up against Patty's Baddies. And we got Pain and Glory teamed up against Pavement Princesses for week three action going into week four. And let's see what the prizes are. So we got, what do you call those?
Those would be called headphones, I believe.
Some Bluetooth headphones. And then the week four winners get the Megaplex package. So it's an experiential.
Dude, they got everything on that.
Yeah,
Junior mints, big mugs, big popcorn box.
Get your ticket to the movie theater, plus all the stuff that you need to have an amazing experience going to watch a movie.
I think they're a sponsor of JKR, right? Junior mints?
Junior mints, as a matter of fact. And then the final winners get a Nike gift card and a pair of those compression boots that you put on for recovery and for getting the blood flowing. We got some really cool stuff going on here, you guys.
Yeah, that's after a day of door knocking, right? You go put those compression boots on.
Yeah, especially for these big old fat ankles of mine. I use those all the time. Okay, and then how about some shout-outs for our operations department? Allie, thank you for all the hard work that you're putting into putting the holiday high speed together, everything that you're doing to help out with the sales department and all the tracking that you're doing, helping us out with our revenue tracker and making sure that sucker is accurate. Thank you for everything that you're doing and all of your continued emphasis on doing things at a very high level. Appreciate you, Allie. And Christmas parties. Christmas parties of this week. By the time you guys are seeing this, we'll probably already have our Draper Christmas party done. I'm excited about that. And then on the 15th, we're doing our Christmas party in St. George. We got some fun stuff planned. I'm excited for it. And let's see here. We're off to a great start in December, you guys. December is when people are all in the mood to spend their money. They're all experiencing the cold weather coming in through those crazy, junky windows. And what better opportunity to catch people in the middle of winter and when they're ready to spend money. December is going to be phenomenal. We're off to a great start already. Everybody stay focused. And that is what I'm going to pass it off to Blake to talk about today. He was one of our top coordinators as a coordinator. He's now been a director for a long time. But one of our leaders at the company here, sharing knowledge and wisdom about what it takes to operate at a high level as a coordinator to make a career out of this thing and be able to make a high 6-figure income. Blake, what do you say?
I say, dude, this is the cool little program you got going on.
Thanks, brother.
This is killer. This office, too. Like, this is top-notch stuff, man. I feel like I'm on a real fucking Hollywood set. Can I swear on this thing? It's just company.
This is company.
Yeah, this is us.
Yep.
This is internal.
This is just us being us.
This is fucking internal, right? But, dude, I'm kind of, a lot of people don't know me, a lot of the new coordinators and stuff. I've been kind of MIA a little bit. I've been doing a kind of a unique schedule due to me supporting my wife's business endeavors and things. And so if you don't know me, hi, my name's Blake. I like smooth jazz and I like whiskey. That's about it, right? That's my tagline for a long time. But I just can't thank you enough, man, for just letting me be in your company for over 2 years. Like, dude, I don't know what I am, but I'm hard to deal with sometimes, and I appreciate you guys. Anybody that knows me knows what I'm talking about, so that's what's up. But yeah, this has been a life-changing company for me, and I don't express that enough to you.
Appreciate that. But
yeah, it's life-changing because it's simple and it's effective, and it's like everybody that comes in here is welcome to be respected and bring what they know to the table, and it's a great place to learn. I think just the culture has been maintained very well. Mm-hmm. But you wanted me to go into detail, like about just like how to stay focused or how to get good at being coordinators, right? Or
yeah, so we're talking about, it's holiday season.
Yeah,
everybody's kind of in chill mode right now. When for me, this is the most important time for you to be disciplined.
Yeah.
When everybody else is practicing being average and ordinary and thinking about taking time off and it's holidays, I'm going to take it easy and I got family coming into town. Here at JKR Windows, we have high standards. We have high expectations of each other.
Yeah.
And we're trying to pump out some disciplined people, not only to go out and help our customers, but make an impact on people's lives, just like we've made with Blake here.
Absolutely.
That we are part of his story, and he's never going to be the same after working with JKR Windows. And the things he's experienced, the new discipline, the new habits that he's created. And right now is the most important time of the year to be practicing those habits, and wanted to get some feedback from you on some of those things that our newest, youngest people into sales, period.
Yeah.
And even some of our veterans sometimes forget the things that you need to be able to push through these hard times when your mind's playing tricks on you, to help you advance in the rest of your life.
Totally. You said it. When your mind is playing tricks on you, this is the time of year. You can, if you let your mind wander, it will find an excuse for your inadequacies. It will find an excuse for your lack of success, whatever it needs to fill the void. Our minds are wired for self-defense, right? Self-preservation. And on a social, it's weird because you're not in physical danger. But anytime that your monetary income is on the line, that's kind of representative of like food on the table, food in your gut, roof over your head, right? Paying your bills. And so we have this like wiring in our brain that's like we need to defend ourselves and tell our subconscious and excuses. So we have an excuse ready for when our what is it? The instinctual, like, tribalness of ourselves come out. It's like, why didn't you get a deer today, Jeff? You hunted for 8 hours. Where the fuck is your deer? And you're like,
I'll have an excuse ready for that one if I'm not out there putting the work in.
Right, yeah. And you're like, how? And your mind's like, how am I going to stay in this tribe? Right? Mm-hmm. And so your mind starts making excuses. Oh, man, it was so cold. I couldn't find a deer. All the deer aren't even, it's December. They're not going to be close. They're not here. Like, no deer wants to get killed in December. Duh. Like, we start generating these excuses. So when your mind's playing tricks on you, the discipline, this is where it makes or breaks you. It's the mind, discipline of the mind, mental discipline. Like, you can develop physical discipline. You can be in an environment where discipline is forced on you. Like I've told you before, that was me in the military. I thought I was the most disciplined son of a bitch out there. I'm like, I'm tough. I could do this stuff. But as soon as you took me out of the military uniform and out of the team, like, I turned into a lazy piece of shit. Like that's what happened. It was my environment that made me disciplined. But this job has taught me the mental discipline that you need to hit the doors and to keep going, even though it's like Christmas Eve. I remember knocking doors on Christmas Eve as a coordinator, and getting told to fuck off. Like in St. George, it was during COVID too. So, you know, and every director here at the company, you've heard, they always have an uphill both ways kind of story. But you know, it is what it was. It was exactly what it was. It was knocking in COVID, and when I started getting good at door knocking and like good at turning an appointment into like a sale, or getting a solid appointment to a solid director that he could make the sale, is when I really started enjoying the grind and understanding that my mind was my enemy, not the customer, not the temperature, not the traffic, not the area, not the area. There's no such thing as bad area. There's good area, and then there's better area, right? There's no such thing. You can go anywhere. You know, you go down, you get out of the car, you shut your door because you have that mental discipline to get out and get on the doors, right? And you just breathe in and you tell yourself, no matter what, I'm going to succeed today. There are 2 sales in this street. There are people that are going to listen to me. I just got to go find them. And then you go, hey, I'm also a realist, not to be negative, but I know people are going to, you know, they're going to scoff at this. They're going to slam the door in my face. And that's good. It's like the Jocko, you know, like good.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, it's cold outside, good. You know, you didn't wipe your butt very good and you got to walk 6 blocks, good. You know, like anything that's bad that you would perceive as bad is actually good because it's just fortifying your mental discipline.
You got to be disciplined. You got to callous your mind to all of the difficult things you know you're going to encounter.
Yeah. And you make it fun. You like fucking live for that shit. It's like, I'm going to go door to door. People are going to tell me no. And that's not my job. My job is to talk to every single person until I find that yes, you know, until I reach the goal I set for today, or until I've busted it, until there's nothing left in the tank, and then I go home the next day. And granted, you know, we're human, and so some days you win more and some days you lose, and some days you go back and you win hard, like more than you've ever have in your life. But it's like, it's just the consistency in showing up and being in a good mindset to have that discipline. Like, I know this is going to happen this way. I know I'm going to find a sale. I know I'm going to have adversity, and you just laugh at that shit, dude. You're like, this is going to be fun. And I started enjoying it. And it just helped me, that mental discipline. I didn't have to fight myself anymore. Now, it wasn't about whether I was doing good or bad. It was just whether I was making, you know, was I making $3,000 this month, or was I making $6,000 this month? It was just the margin that I was worried about changed. I wasn't worried about whether I was going to pay my bills. I was just worried about if I was going to make X or X, because I knew it was happening. But yeah, sorry, you sound like you want to say something there.
You know what I was going to say is, it makes me think about something I talked to Josh about today. Incredibly intelligent human being, and he's always in the process of trying to understand how people work and how people think and how do we get more out of people. And something he said today really stuck out to me, that we're all looking for things to be fulfilled in and to feel passionate about. And to be honest, knocking doors is not the most exciting, enjoyable thing. But the reality is also that you've got an opportunity to make an incredible income here, and you can either make excuses about it or you can make a great income. And when I started in door-to-door, I had never done door-to-door. I'd never done sales. I was a mechanic. I was a pothead. And the only other thing that I'd done besides that is build houses, which none of those things had helped me develop any personal skills, sales skills, communication skills. I was pretty much a hermit. But I knew that I didn't want to go back to doing those other things. And as much of the justifications, the excuses as I had, that I know a lot of you have very similar, what I found was that I needed to find something inside of replacement windows, inside of door-to-door, that I could get the fulfillment out of, that I could start to enjoy, that I could start to be passionate about. And what I found was that training and developing people, creating success stories, building belief in people that they were capable of doing things that right now they may not even realize that they're capable of, and then watching them kind of blossom into this confident person that starts to take hold of these things that I've taught them and go out and make an income that like they never even thought was possible for them. And maybe that's not going to be the same for you, but there is something here. There's something in everything in your life that if you just change the way that you think about it a little bit, just like Blake had done, he started changing a little bit about the way that he thought about it, and it changed everything for how he showed up every day on those doors, talking to customers. No matter how many people shut him down, no matter how many people slammed the door on him, he was going to show up to that next door with a great attitude, with enthusiasm, with conviction and belief in what he was doing out there, and he was there with a purpose. And right now, during the holidays, may be one of the toughest times to do that. But every time that you overcome it, you become a little bit better next time. Every time you get in a tiny little slump and overcome it, you're able to get out of it a little quicker next time if you're intentional. And that's what sales and life is all about. If you're ever going to accomplish anything great here with JKR Windows, you're going to have to callous your mind. We're not asking you to be unrealistic. You just have to handle that stuff. You got to handle the fear. You got to handle the anxiety. You got to handle all those thoughts you got going on in your head. And you just got to do it anyways.
Yeah.
That's what successful people do.
Yeah, that's the discipline.
They don't listen to their emotions, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Successful people don't listen to their emotions.
They don't. Yeah, you can experience emotion all the time. It's like part of the human existence. I would hope you have some emotion, right? That's good. But then set it aside. That's like a huge thing. If you can just step out of yourself and set that aside and then exercise that mental discipline of, I'm going to make some changes and I'm going to make them. And then there's no prisoners anymore and you don't get a say. It's your subconscious versus your conscious. You got to tell yourself to shut the fuck up. Then you got to push. And it's one thing to go push on the door. I think almost every coordinator at our company, Jeff, I've seen them hit some crazy ass door figures, putting up 250 doors a day. Mm-hmm. Like we know the work ethic's there. I think it's actually easier if there's a little bit of physicality in mind. That's more comfortable to me. It reminds me of like a high school like sports practice. Like, you played football or something. Mm-hmm. I played lacrosse, but, we'd be doing 2-a-days, and I got used to, like, dig deep physically. But, like, there's no training in the high school sports for, like, mental fortitude when you're trying to sell windows, or trying to sell anything.
There's not.
So it's like, how do you do that?
There's some difficult stuff you had to overcome in the process.
Right.
Like the mental toughness that it took to show up for another 2-a-day. You knew there was going to be another 2-a-day. Right. And you kept showing up.
Yeah. And that's like the key to make the team. There's a huge portion of that in door knocking, and I think our whole company has that dialed. Like people are hitting good numbers on the doors, and if they're not, like they fix it, right? Because we advise them on that. Yeah. But then what's the missing piece is what's your mental discipline? It's easy. I can go through the motions, right? That's easy to do. All I got to do is get out of the car and go knock doors. But like that's not going to that might make the difference for 1 or 2 days, but that's not going to make the difference in your lifestyle change. If you're just barely getting out the doors, just barely doing the bare minimum, that's step 1. But step 2, 3, 4, 5 is, okay, I'm going to wake up actually 30 minutes early and I'm going to read a sales training book. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to enhance my mental nourishment, right? And then I'm going to get to the door and I'm going to knock 10 doors, and then I'm going to stop for 5 minutes, and I'm going to check my mental attitude. Am I here, or am I already mentally checked out on that date with the hot girl that's on my mind? Am I already mentally checked out at the gaming session I'm going to have tonight with the boys playing Call of Duty? Like, that's fine. Have those things, but be where you're at. Like, pull back. That's mental discipline to me. It's like, I'm here. I'm right here. Like, what's this guy's house? Like, that's how much I know if I'm invested. I have to check myself and be like, I just walked up to this door and I didn't even look at the windows. I must be, something's on my mind. Let me go figure that out. Oh, it's because I have an issue with my family. I should probably call my dad real quick and make sure that's
Get it worked out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I can hit the doors for the next 5 hours without any, loss of focus, right? Because then I can reassess, re-hit. And, like, you probably had days like that, too, where you're just going so hard.
Oh, we all have.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going so hard because that's all I know how to do. And then you, like, got to come up for air, though. And you're like, whoa. That lady just told me that her husband died. And, like, I just glossed over that shit and was like, anyway, 50% off. It's like, you gotta catch yourself, right? Like,
Yep.
What did I really say? What happened?
We're out here to be intentional in sales, and especially door to door. Your mental state is going to have a pretty big impact on the productiveness out on the door. You can go out there, anybody can go out there and just hit doors and go put in volume. But the next level for you is going to be your mindset, your attitude, your belief, conviction, how present you are with each interaction. Every time you show up to a door, are you pouring into that person? Are you pouring into that interaction?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Does that fire you up? And you treat it the exact same way every single time.
Yeah.
No matter what state of mind that you were in, when you did that little reset for yourself, I'm going to get back where I need to be because I'm so intentional about making the best of the rest of my day. If I'm out here, I'm committed to making the best out of this day. I got to get my mind right. Every single person that I talk to, I have an opportunity with. Not everybody's ready. Some people are going to cuss you out, tell you to get off their porch. But by that next house, you got to have such mental fortitude that you have already reset and your memory is so short that it doesn't even affect you by the time you have walked 25 yards to the next door and you're ready to give it everything that you have with every ounce of energy and enthusiasm that you know is going to give you the best opportunity with that customer.
Yeah.
That's what's going to separate you from the next person. That's what's going to help you develop the skills and the confidence throughout the rest of your life to do incredible things as well. This is not just about right now at JKR Windows. We're here because we want to be a part of your story. We want you to remember what you learned here, the lessons, all of the hard times and the challenges that you were able to overcome because you didn't quit and you were part of an environment that embraces the suck. This sucks sometimes. But the only way you're going to be able to be better is if you embrace the suck, all the energy that it takes to overcome anxiety and fear is what is going to produce a better quality version of yourself. It's going to produce better results. If you're not willing to overcome those things, you're not going to qualify for a higher level of yourself. And you'll be like 95% of most people that avoid all the pain, they avoid all the uncertainty, and they spin their wheels and they repeat the same patterns over and over and over in their life. And they become average and ordinary. It's just the reality of it.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what we start out as, right? You just kind of inherit average. You're born it, you're just average. Like, it's just, that's the starting point. So I was going to ask you, Jeff, like, you know, if our coordinators become, it's so tied to, like, being a certain type of person has a dollar amount to it. And if you can become the person that's able to earn 10 grand a month, that's the real ticket. So I was going to ask you, the old school Jeff, diesel mechanic Jeff, alcoholic, weed smoking Jeff, was that the type of person that deserves $1 million?
I didn't deserve at that point.
Right.
I hadn't put in the work. I hadn't become disciplined. I hadn't overcome any significant challenges in my life to be able to earn the opportunity to be a six-figure earner. It's
like you see people that win the lottery, right? And within a year or two, or, you know, maybe 5 years, they're like flat broke, right? Because the type of person, it's like who you are as a person. It's your identity is what reflects your actual paycheck. But
it is.
It is. There is a literal dollar amount to your habits every day that is costing you or gaining you money every day.
And you can't skip steps in the process.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You might get lucky, right?
And make some money.
Yeah. Right? But what's funny too is even like a lot of trust fund babies that are born into that, they were probably just exposed to an environment or type of people that did earn that money. And so they have a slight advantage because usually they have people in their life that might impart good wisdom to them and have excellent examples. A lot of times they squander it. A lot of times they don't, though, right? Because they have.
I know a lot of people that grew up in the environment that had great leaders in their life, great examples of what it was to be disciplined and to be smart with their money and to embody all of the things of a successful person. Some people just don't have it in them. They just have the money handed to them, and they never develop any of the discipline or the habits, and then they squander it. They don't have the leadership or the communication skills. They squander it. So you got to ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to live? This is an opportunity for you to come to be a part of an environment and a culture that likely you will never have the opportunity to be a part of again. And sometimes people aren't ready. We have a lot of turnover because people aren't ready. We have high expectations. We have high standards.
Yeah.
And we hold each other accountable, and not everybody is ready for that. But if you are, I know I've had conversations with a lot of you, and we're always playing tricks on ourselves. And you try and justify your behaviors, you try and justify your results, you're blaming outside circumstances, you're blaming the neighborhood, you're blaming your leaders, you're blaming your training, you're blaming the time of year, or your president, or the economy, or whatever it is. Every time you catch yourself doing that, I want you to think about it next time. Because it's not any of those things. You should always be pointing the finger back at you and taking 100% responsibility for your results. We've got a great system here. We've got success story after success story of people coming in here from an average and ordinary background and not knowing if they would ever have an opportunity to make six figures on the current path that they were on, and within a relatively short period of time are making six figures, and they're doing it consistently, and they see a growth and they see progress. And you just got to ask yourself, do you want to be one of those success stories, or are you going to make excuses? We still love everybody anyways, but we're going to provide you an environment that can be your success story also. And you're going to remember JKR Windows for the rest of your life as being that success part of your story that jump-started things and started creating things in your life because you started to be exposed to some of these really simple success principles like reading, writing your goals, doing the extra work, being a professional, and what it looks like to be a professional.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's like, this is all stuff you've heard before. I've heard this before 1,000 times. How many times did you hear shit like this before you actually made JKR Windows?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we all get exposed to it. We've all had little tastes of it.
But hearing it is one thing, and then it's the application, right? That's where your identity lies. You are identified by your actions, right? If I was like morbidly obese, that means my actions made me that way, right? Like that's my identity. If I want to be known as the guy who wears Hawaiian floral print shirts, but I never wear one, that is not my identity. I could say, yeah, I wear Hawaii shirts, but if I didn't wear one, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yep.
It's got to be my identity. Like, that's why I wore this shirt today. Like, because I like it. It's part of my identity. So I took action and I put this shit on. Well, first I took action and I bought this shit. And then I put it on and I wear it. Right? Same thing. It's I like smooth jazz and whiskey. And, like, you guys thought that was just kind of a funny joke I said. And then I pulled up listening to smooth jazz one time, and everyone was like, what the fuck are you?
Really, dude? Listen to smooth jazz?
I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Listen to this saxophone solo. Crank that up. Like, it's
really
my
do
identity.
Like sipping on that smoky flavored whiskey?
Yeah. So be careful what you choose to put your identity to, right? Like, at one point, your identity was like, I'm a weed smoker, right? And, like, there's plenty of successful people that smoke weed, and that's just one tiny little sliver of their identity. Right? I know a lot of veterans, too, that their whole identity was like, I was in the Marines. And, like, for me, that's just a part of my identity. It was a big part, but that doesn't define me fully. And so be very careful what people put their identities into. Like, for me, when I put my identity, like, I am a Windows salesman at JKR, and I am a person that's worthy of $100,000 a year. And then that happened because I took the action and did those steps. And I made it my identity, right?
I do align them. Yep.
Yeah. That's what I became to get it.
One of the most important parts is that you have, first of all, the fact that you're here listening to this means that you're in a good place to make it conducive for these things to be able to happen. We're trying to build belief in you and provide you with the environment, the tools and resources so you have the opportunity. And now it's up to you. You got to start adjusting the way that you think and turning up the temperature in your life and the activity and all the things that are going to be necessary for there's now to become a reality. And for me, it wasn't very long ago that I was identified as a pothead. I was kind of proud of it. I smoked a lot of weed. I drank a lot. I always knew where the party was at. And I was kind of stuck in that pattern. Before too long, it was not something that I didn't want to live that way anymore. I had a family. I wanted to have kids. I had to change the way that I thought about myself and what I thought was possible for me. And the same is possible for you guys. Every single one of you is supposed to do great things with your lives. But it's ultimately up to you. You can be a part of an incredible environment and culture and have an awesome opportunity, but it's up to you to take advantage of it and do something about it. So thank you for staying along. If you made it this far, you got some amazing nuggets from my guy Blake over here.
Hopefully.
Looking forward to seeing every one of you at the Christmas parties and along my travels from each office. Until next time, Jefferson checking out.
Feliz Navidad.
Thanks, you guys.